What if the empty lot down the street could feed an entire neighborhood? In South Florida, that's not just a dream, it's a movement. Across the U.S., there are over 15 million vacant lots, many in urban areas. These unused spaces often become eyesores or dumping grounds, but they have the potential to become something beautiful and vital. South Florida has seen a rise in local initiatives turning empty lots into productive community gardens and urban farms. These projects are helping to fight food insecurity in areas known as food deserts, neighborhoods with limited access to fresh, affordable produce. As a matter of fact, a study by the American Community Garden Association shows that in food deserts, community gardens can increase fruit and vegetable intake by up to 37%. They also provide safe green spaces, reduce crime, and build stronger community ties. This movement hits close to home for me. I've seen firsthand how growing food changes somebody's life. So today I'm diving into how South Florida is flipping the script on empty lots. Stick around to see inspiring examples of gardens blooming where you least expect them and how you can get involved in your own community. So I'm at the Patricia Davis Community Garden in Pompano Beach with Farmer Will.
Hello everyone.
How are you? Thank you for having us over.
Of course, I'm so happy to have you.
I am so happy to be here. Let's start by talking a little bit about what this was before you guys came along.
So this used to be a vacant lot. Nothing was here. This was created because of a lady named Patricia Davis. She always had a vision of creating a garden here in this space, but nothing was growing. It was an empty space. Unfortunately, she passed away, but in honor of her vision, our not-for-profit, The Fruitful Field, got hired by the city of Pompano Beach to come in here and manage the site and create a community garden. We've been here 5 years now. This neighborhood is a food desert, so there's not a lot of like Publix, Walgreens, CVS nearby in this location. So having a community garden with fresh produce locally, not shipped thousands of miles away, is a huge benefit in this neighborhood.
Now, how did you get involved with a fruitful field? You have a pretty cool story.
So I got involved when I was actually 15. A substitute teacher came into my school and asked if there was, if anyone was interested in a first-time job, and a bunch of hands went up. And then she said it'd be out at a farm. A bunch of hands went down. I kept my hand up. And then I went there and just fell in love.
They're like, I want a job at a farm. Oh, no.
Yep, exactly.
And had you farmed before?
No, never until I went there, yeah.
So you learned all those skills there?
Exactly.
So you were one of those Grow City kids?
Yep.
Is that the program?
Yep, that's it.
At the Fruitful Field. That's very cool. So what did you learn there? They teach you life skills?
Exactly. They teach us life skills, first-time job skills, and then also, of course, the agriculture. And that's what I fell in love with. I'll never forget, I tried my first tomato, and I couldn't eat them from the store, but eating it fresh off the plant was incredible.
Totally different taste.
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing. I think that especially if you live in a food desert, and they put a food forest near it, right? Like this, right? You get to try for the first time a lot of veggies that you didn't have access to, and you didn't even know how to eat them.
100%. Yep. It gives you access to so much new produce items that it's unbelievable.
And a tomato from the store is definitely not the same as a tomato grown here.
100%. I agree with you. Yeah, it's like candy.
So give us a little tour.
Check it out. We're in our community plot section right here. In this space, this is dedicated to locals in the neighborhood to grow whatever they want. This is a 10 by 10 raised bed box. If they want my guidance and my help, I'll happily help you. If you're already a pro farmer and you've got the skills, you can grow whatever you want in these boxes.
Amazing. So what do they have to do to be able to get access to one of these boxes?
So you sign our contract and you pay $40 a year. And that's a great benefit. It's a huge deal. And in these spaces, you get access to growing your own food from September to April. You can come out in the summer still if you're interested. But from September to April, when you're growing your winter crops, you don't have to go to the store to purchase them. When you're growing here, you have access to that all winter long. So that's a huge benefit for your health and just growing educational wise, learning how to grow. If you need my help gardening, I will teach you how to grow food. We have these production fields over here. Every Wednesday through Saturday, we have volunteers that come out from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. and they help us maintain the fields, do harvesting, weeding, just regular garden work out here. It's a great time.
Now talk about some of the communal areas that you have. What do you have planted here?
So right here behind us, these are guava trees. They're starting to flower and fruit. We've got a coconut right there, pineapples right there. We got a citrus tree over here. Moringa is all back there. That's the most nutrient dense tree on the planet.
Talk to me a little bit about moringas.
So moringa is one of my favorite trees. This is a super beneficial tree. It's a superfood. All in its leaves, it has most of the vitamins and most fruits and vegetables in its leaves. So if you're in a place where you don't have access to things that we do here in America, you could basically just survive off of this tree. You can make it into powders, cook with it, turn it into teas. And also these pods that it has, that it forms, you can take the seeds and crush them up. If your water's dirty, it'll actually purify water. So this tree is definitely a miracle tree. If you're not growing it, I definitely recommend growing it. They sell the powder for like 40-50 bucks in Whole Foods, but all you have to do is chop some branches, put it on a drying rack, dry the leaves out, throw it in a blender, and you have your powder ready to go. Right here behind me, this is our production fields. This is what we take to market, and we do donations. 50% of what we grow, we bring back to the community. But yeah, all of this right here goes to market. What we're looking at is eggplants, radishes, different Asian greens all throughout here. I go there every second and fourth Saturday to Green Market Pompano Beach. There's usually lines out my booth, regular customers that come and support the local farmers. It's a great program. If you haven't came to Pompano Beach Green Market, I definitely recommend checking it out. It's a great way to get out in the community and just see what's going on.
When you say you donate 50% of the where how does that work?
So when we donate the produce, it goes to soup kitchens, homeless outreaches, and just people in need in the local community. Our mission is to feed locals who are in need. So that's just a big part of what we do out here. If you're looking to learn how to grow, come out Wednesday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. and volunteer, and you'll become a pro farmer in no time.
So the good thing about growing food in community gardens is you have access to food that you probably wouldn't find at a local supermarket because it's not shelf stable.
Exactly. So you have different varieties of greens that are way more adapted to your area that we try to grow. So we have things like radishes, arugula, Tokyo Bacana, Mizuna, premium green mix, and more Mizuna on the end there.
You don't find that at the supermarket.
No, you don't find this stuff on the supermarket. And if you do, it's rare. But this stuff is great. I highly recommend growing this stuff because it's super healthy. And a lot of these greens you can stir fry, you can make stews, you can just chop them up and throw them in your salad. So this stuff is great just to have in your backyard and just save money and be healthy.
And nutritionally, eating closer to home and food that was just picked is much better, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Talk to me about these carrots.
So what's useful about these, don't throw out the tops. You can still use them. You can take the greens, and if you're allergic to basil, you can actually use the green tops and make it into a nice pesto. Also, you can throw them in a soup and make juices with the greens, but also the carrots are super yummy too.
When do they grow?
So these grow from September till April. In the summer months, it's a little too hot for them. They like the cool temperatures. But there's a very long growing season that you can grow carrots down here in South Florida.
So I noticed these things are in a mound. Talk to me a little bit about that. And you have drip irrigation?
Yeah, so these are in a mound because over time, at the end of the season, the field starts to erode and get flat. And all of the nutrients that we've built up into the earthworms goes down into the soil and it erodes. So we take our shovels and we build trenches to build the rows back up in the beginning of the season. And that allows all the nutrients that went away and eroded to go back up to the surface and feed the plants.
And what about the drip irrigation?
So this drip irrigation we installed because it gives the plants the exact water they need. It just drips down. It doesn't waste water. So this is a perfect design to use if you're growing food down here. And we're also on well water, so we don't have to pay for city water. And if it's high in iron, we add things like filters to keep the plants healthy.
And now drip irrigation also helps prevent like diseases on the leaves, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. So things like tomatoes, they don't like to be overhead watered with the hose. You can actually cause a lot of fungal issues. So that's one plant in particular you'd want to have a drip system on. And yeah, overall it just keeps your plants healthy. We do have a sprinkler overhead on this one for our lettuces because they do like some extra water.
Now it doesn't have to be fancy. I see a hose.
Exactly, nothing fancy. just connect and cut.
I see you have radishes.
Yes, we do. Bravo radishes. These are great to grow down here. They take the heat well. We slightly thin them and just eat them raw or put them in like some dips. It goes great with hummus. Or you can also take the leaves and chop those up and make them into a pesto as well. As like a basil alternative. It's great. I've got a great recipe for it right here.
Haha! All right, what is this recipe about?
So this is about making a radish leaf pesto. This was a hit at our markets. We give out samples of it and people are eating it like crazy.
That's amazing. So we're gonna put that recipe on the comments section so everybody has access to that amazing radish leaf pesto. Tell me about the benefits of growing and eating radishes.
So radishes are very healthy for your gut biome. So when you're eating radishes, you're benefiting the body, specifically your stomach, by eating the radishes, which is great. And just growing them, they take the heat well. I get good turnarounds from September till about April, May. We can grow them a very long time here in South Florida.
If this video inspired you or opened your eyes up to what is possible with a little soil and community spirit, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps more people find this kind of content. And if you want to see more stories about urban gardening, subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you don't miss what's coming up next. Thanks for being here and happy gardening.